What in the world is going on out there? The world is going crazy and crazier and crazier. Joined by me are my expressed special crazy correspondents, the measurers of crazy, Laura Massey. Dale was on vacation, measuring crazy on vacation, and the master of understanding crazy. Welcome, everyone. Maty Waller, Laura Massey, and myself, Andrew Bartzis, are here to discuss the crazy train that's happening. It is a mystery show, but the mystery is how crazy will it get? And we're going to start with an article being read by Mr. Maty Waller. And we warn you, you will be shocked, you will laugh, your butt may pucker, and something else may occur afterwards. We will have a question and answer discussion, but understand it, everyone. What's about to be read to you is 100% real, not fake. Coming from the Zero Hedge article, Maty, if you would all like to read the article link is in the show description.
Okay, here we go. A whole new level of crazy. Minneapolis Art Center is slammed for encouraging a family-friendly demon summoning.
Yes, everyone. Family-friendly demon summoning has come to Earth.
An arts and culture center in Minneapolis has received backlash after it promoted an event encouraging families to attend a ceremony to summon and befriend a demon of their choosing. The Walker, there's a subsection here. It says the Walker Arts Center has received millions of dollars in taxpayers' funds through Minnesota's Arts and Cultural Hedge Fund. The event description on the organization website reads, "Demons have a bad reputation, but maybe we're just not very good at getting to know them." The event featured an artist called Tamer Eaton, who creates the demon traps. Families are invited to create a vessel to trap the demon that knows them best. Oh, God. Perhaps the demon of overthinking, and then participate in a playful ceremony to summon and befriend their demon. There's another subsection here where somebody says it's not even exaggerated. What the fuck? Art making activity, plant pressings, press patterns into clay using plant material to create your own decorative wall hanging to display somewhere. 10 to 3 p.m. Demons have a bad reputation, but maybe we're just not very good at getting to know them. Do you have a demon that creeps into your thoughts? Maybe the demon of overthinking or the demon of not trusting your gut. Work with visiting artist Tamer Eaton to design a vessel for holding the demon you know. Aww. After designing your trap, Lilith, the empathic demon, will come from the dark side of the moon to lead you in locating your feelings using ancient Babylonian techniques. The description further claims, adding, "This collective and playful demon summoning session will conclude with a somatic movement meditation," oh God, designed to help you befriend your shadows. The report notes that the Art Center received millions of dollars in taxpayer funds through Minnesota's Art and Cultural Heritage Fund, which routinely funds projects with a left-wing agenda.
This is the Diversity, Equity, Inclusion money sponsoring demonic possession.
So tell me, what part of that is okay?
None of it is okay.
It's...
Matt, do you want to read the rest of it where it has the Church of Satan also?
Where does it say that? Let's have a look.
And the Satan after school clubs.
Yeah, there's a video, but file this one to the after-school Satan clubs that are no doubt doing the same kind of thing all over the country. It says concerned for after-school Satan clubs.
It's a real thing.
There's no written piece on this, just a link to a video by the looks of it, or something like that. Yeah.
So the after-school Satan clubs were exposed about 7 months ago, and now you're seeing demon summoning at the Cultural and Arts Center in Minneapolis. So what is wrong with summoning a demon at a Cultural and Arts Center, family-friendly? Where should we start?
What is right with it?
And our second resident demon expert, David Ellis, has appeared.
Hello, everyone. I had there be demon summoning around here.
Yeah.
Yes, we just read the article, David, and got everyone up to speed with what's going on in the family-friendly demon summoning. And the question was posed, what's wrong with this idea?
What? That was a question?
Yes.
Okay. It was a family-friendly demon summoning at a museum that is funded by taxpayers.
Yes.
Help me out. Help me out here. Anybody, help me understand this.
I'm dumbfounded, David.
Yeah,
Honestly, I'm
too.
struggling for the words. They're jumbled in my mind, not just because of the danger and severity of the situation, but also because of my experience over the last couple of weeks has been very poignant to this particular subject matter. And looking at it from my perspective, I'm mixed emotions about it, because this just fucks over free will in so many different ways. It is so against what we're trying to achieve here. It's just, you can see I'm almost speechless, which doesn't
so
happen
many
very
layers to the wrong. Let me show you how wrong all of this is. The first wrong was committed by Andrew in sending this to me in the first place. I woke up, I went to the gym, I came back, and there was this link. I clicked the link, demon summoning in Minneapolis. So I had to go down that rabbit hole and go look and search this thing. It was that museum is taxpayer funded. Andrew, did you know that?
Yes. But it's diversity,
use
equity, and
taxpayers'
inclusion
money.
fund. It's DEI funded it.
They use taxpayers' money to create a demon summoning event that is family friendly. Whenever somebody tells you family friendly, it means I want your kids there.
Yes.
Yes.
This is so wrong, so wrong. It's wrong from the people's side. It's wrong from the demon side, right?
Yes.
Because what it is trapping, right? It's a trapping a demon, right?
Yes.
Demon summoning is trapping a demon.
No, the art side. The art side is the artist teaches you how to make a vessel to trap your demon. And to take it home with you.
Well, that's nice of him. I mean, like, you could just have a demon in your bottle in your kitchen, right next to the salt. Let's not open up the wrong thing, shall we?
Exactly. Is that oyster sauce or the demon?
I want to break this down with seriousness, but honestly, I am so aghast by all of this. Like, first of all, they're using buzzwords like family friendly. Guess who else uses those words? Okay, that's the first thing.
LBGTQ plus.
Family friendly, demon summoning. How did we get here? Anybody in the chat, help us to understand this, because this is one time I am speechless. All right, help me to understand this. How did we get here? We went. It was 2013, then it was 2016, and then somehow COVID came in there, and then we're here, demon summoning for the family. And the thing about it is that they're talking about summoning a demon, or the demon of overthinking.
Yes.
Okay.
Also, Mephistopheles.
Okay, wait. Let me see if I get this straight. Let's say you have a demon, right? That's plaguing you. You want to put the demon in the bottle and keep him close to you and make friends with him after you imprison him in a bottle. So much wrong. So many wrong things. But no, we have to bring the kids in, because it's kind of like gun safety. You got to train them young to summon their demons.
Have you ever
And you said this to your dad.
So
You said this to your dad, and what did he say?
My dad called me straight away, like, don't go back to the US. Like, don't visit the US. How is this right? How is this right? Even if it was a joke, if it was some sort of symbolic summoning of demons, it's still a bad thing because you're making a ceremony of intentionality around it. And a lot of people don't realize that simple things that they do are ceremonies in themselves, right? When you go brush your teeth, that's a ceremony. It absolutely is. Because your intention is to have a clean, healthy mouth, right? You're manifesting that. But
now you can take your demon with you.
Wow.
What happens if the kid takes the demon to the school next day?
Yeah.
Want to come and play with my demon there? It's in a bottle.
They have demon collection.
There's no safety warning, no safety warnings, nothing.
They're
So,
like comics now.
how have we gotten here? How have we gotten here?
Yeah, that is the question, Andrew. How did we get here? How did we get here? Because it seems like evil just has a grip on society like I have never seen before. And I don't like to make statements like that because it's like making judgment calls on what's good and what's evil. But I'm pretty sure that inviting children to a demon summoning would be classed as an evil act.
Yeah. Not only that, David, a stupid motherfucking one as well. It just makes me think how many. It's bad enough within itself to say we're having a friendly family demon summoning event, but at what part does somebody look and say, "Oh, darling, doesn't this look good? Let's take the children."
How did it get past the grant writing process? How did it get right past the grant writing process? How many levels of eyes had to be on it to approve it to get money?
Yeah. Even the center itself, where it's being held, and then all other. There are so many different organisations that would have had to look at this, say yes, that gets our stamp of approval.
So do we just assume they're all demonic? Everybody who approved it.
Afraid of whatever was behind this person.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So, how did we get here?
We've become desensitized to bullshit. Okay, let me explain something to y'all. Let me tell you why this is dangerous. Because even if you took it as a joke, right? Let me ask you something, everybody in the chat. If I knocked on your door and I came from the satanic temple, so to speak, I knock on your door. I say, hi, we're having a family-friendly demon summoning, right? Bring your kids. You can bring pets. It's pet-friendly as well. Bring your pets.
That's potluck. Potluck dinner, vegetarian.
Right? Yeah. Bring your pets and everything. I'm like, you would tell me, get away from me. Call 911. There's a crazy effer out here. All right, you would. But no, the museum did it, and people are actually interested in going to this thing and bringing their kids to it. Have we become so desensitized to everything, like anything goes now? Anything goes. And it's children, which means you're bringing a minority that's in your guardianship to a demon summoning so that they can get all okay with the concept of that dark left-hand path of magic. And do you see how they proliferate this shit all over the world? I am quite sure there's some evil motherfucker who was on this, and I had to swear on this broadcast. Sorry if we're on YouTube, who actually has been plotting this stuff because there's tacit consent. We have said this several times. And there's active consent. Active consent is I know what I'm doing. I read the demonology book. I recite the spells. Tacit consent is you bring your children knowing full well that I advertised it as a demon summoning. Listen, you have me so disturbed this morning. I mean, like, what? Like, how did we get here? How did we get here?
From the chat room, Gaia's got a great statement. We've been trained through films and movies. We've normalized it. That is a great answer. Part of the normalization of ghosts and demons into the society through films and television, such as Buffy the Vampire Slayer, falling in love with a vampire, had no soul, go on and so forth, how demons are not so bad. And now you have cosplay demon summoning at an art center.
What's next?
Special rights for minor attracted persons.
UFOs and aliens are weird. Okay?
Yeah.
We got demon summoning events at art centers. The aliens ain't got shit on that.
Let's make a really interesting argument here. Let's assume that you're with the Legion of Doom, right?
Yeah.
And you want to poison a whole society. Yeah, you're gonna put the films out, right? You're gonna put all the film out. You're making evil really sexy, because the truth of the matter is, in the last 4 or 5 years, all the evil people have just looked better, acted better. You've made them not villains, but you've made them anti-heroes. So an anti-hero, for those of you who don't know, is a hero who does bad shit all the time. Okay? All right. So, like, you remember Batman doesn't kill? Yeah, Batman is fully locked and loaded with with a whole bunch of arsenals shooting up the place. Right. These kinds of things. Superman snapped Zod's neck. Well, he had no choice, right? So he can't win unless he does that. And then you soften them up and you get them used to the construct that, yeah, you got to do a little bad in this world to get some good, right? It's a weighing process, right? So it's like, do a little bad and then, some good will come out of it. And once people get used to this construct, use the nature argument. For the shamans in here, I am all up in your grill today because they used your ethos to say that, right? Nature is cruel. So are we. We are part of nature. We are also cruel. Completely ignoring the fact that you have a higher mind, that you could choose not to be cruel. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
They use shamanic argumentation against a whole population.
So, David, I part of me is, looking at the insidiousness of this. Let's say there's a whole bunch of protesters that show up to the demon summoning. Isn't the demons going to get into the protesters one way or another?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
That's a win-win situation for Team Evil.
Yeah.
Because the truth
Team
of the
Evil,
matter,
Team Evil, 25 points on this one.
because if the protesters show up, they're going to be angry. They're going to be angry and they hate evil. If I am Satan and you hate me, you're feeding me.
Right.
And
So-
this is what I was thinking. It's also is like, there's some demons not all demons are exactly the same. This could attract so many different bad situations. Like there'll be demons that are like, who the fuck do you think you're trying to trap? We're not going to be trapped. We'll give you some of this. There's so many different.
Told them you're going to trap them.
Maty,
Exactly. They're going to turn up there like, come on then, bring it on.
the demons of overthinking, Azazel, Mephistopheles, these demons, they are thousands, millions, billions of years old. You with your little pea brain have decided, bring the family. We're all going to trap the demons of overthinking. I'm like, you're not smart enough. You haven't been around long enough. And you clearly are not smart enough because you're there, right? And you figure that you are this strong and you have enough energy to contain this demon, and you're all going to do it in the spirit of togetherness, which is family friendly. You see how insidious this is? Because family friendly event suggests that you're building a community of love, people who love each other and so on, to do this wonderful little bonding event of summoning a demon.
Demons probably have their own version of that advertising. Look, there's a family-friendly demon summoning activity going on Earth. All join up and support one another as we thrash the shit out of these humans. It'll be fun for all the demons.
It's our next meal, guys.
Honestly, they would love it.
It's not only that, but the fact of the matter is, this is what disturbs me. Now, this story broke recently. It's not all over the media. People have not caught on yet. I fail to see how this is something that they could have skipped over. They deliberately skipping it over. which makes me think that this is insidious and it's a societal program that they're trying to push onto people. But
Testing
really,
waters.
Andrew, you have kids. Lizard. I don't know. So you have a bunch of people who are saying that we're going to like encapsulate a demon so that everybody gets pieces of that demonic energy to go home with.
No, trap your individual demon that at the Cultural and Arts Center, he's going to teach you how to do it with pastries, basically cloth. You're going to trap it in some kind of cloth or something like that. He's going to teach you how to do it at a family fun-friendly demon summoning event, and trap your demon and learn to talk to your demon and take it home.
Yeah,
it's like an arts and crafts event.
And the way the language was laid out was actually the way the language in that it actually says to kind of lineage demons as well. So any demon that's been within your lineage. It's very careful. They're very, very interesting the way they've worded that.
Oh, right.
These are the kind of things we're ripping out of people.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly. On a regular basis.
Remember, I told you guys, this is a self-generating wheel. There's not going to be enough healers and psychics on this planet for the amount of shit that is going on. Listen, even if we took everybody in this audience, right? If we took one country, if we took the whole of it, listen, the blowback of evil and negativity in this world is unimaginable at this point, and there is no stopping it, right? Because it's going, like, what could be worse than that? It used to be like we're going to get into their minds and make them think negative thoughts and hate each other, division. Now you're bringing them together under the umbrella of evil, of demonology. Demonology is a serious practice. You know that.
So, David, so do you think this was one of the Illuminati's trial balloons to see if the society's ready for it?
Yes.
Yes.
See what the blowback is. Either way, we're going to win.
Oh, my God.
I mean, they already do it during the Super Bowls. How many of the Super Bowl halftime shows have you seen with the full-on demonic artwork in it? Okay.
Look at Myrna's comment.
Yeah.
Maty, job security for Maty. That's so perfect.
Yeah. There's no retirement for you, my man. None.
Exactly, no retirement.
We're gonna be seeing you a long, long time.
You need a demon slaying.
You'd be like John Constantine.
Oh, God.
What about these kids, though? There's a moral argument to be made there, right? Because children are obviously more vulnerable. They don't understand what's happening. Okay? Now, if you're going to trap demons and so on, what cloth are you told? I'm sorry. I've heard some shit before.
I don't know whether it was pottery as well.
Right? I've heard some shit before in my time, right? Cloth? Okay. All right. You mean they're trapping the demons inside the kids?
Yeah, essentially, yes.
Yeah, basically.
Bring your cloth, everybody. Haberdashery stores sales are going up. Oh, jeez. Who do you think is going to show up at that event? Who do you think that they were targeting specifically with their marketing?
Well, something interesting to know about Minneapolis itself. It is one of the most open spiritual states in all of the Northern Hemisphere. There are more psychics per capita there. There are more open religions per capita there. And it's known as the land of 10,000 lakes. It's full of teeming life absolutely everywhere. It's a unique and magical land that freezes like a motherfucker, as bad as where you're at, David. Okay? And it's also known as the Twin Cities. Okay? Just so you know, just 20 miles south of the Twin Cities is the largest bacon factory in the world.
And
60,000 pigs a day slaughtered there.
Oh.
That's hilarious. Nice energy.
Yes.
So I'm going to guess, if I'm not mistaken, they decided to target from their advertising open-minded, woke people that want change in society.
Yeah. Well, they were supposed to be pagans.
Pagans.
Pagans. There's a huge pagan population up there.
Pagans don't
Pagans
deal with
have
demonology.
no,
That's a
listen.
myth.
Right. No, the pagan population there, which is basically modern Wicca, has made friends with the churches there, and they do canned food drives together. They stopped fighting a while ago. I mean, there's still people that are haters, but it's a very unique semblance of people who got together around the great world of cheese, because that's what Minneapolis is known for, cheese. Like they have the World Cheese event there, David, with 2,000 different types of cheese from around the world.
So is this an attempt at trying to find some new way to bring the pollution in? Just another doorway in, basically, because I know a lot of doorways have been shut recently, and they're just trying to find more and more ways to open these gateways and these doorways.
So do you think a demon took a marketing class?
Did you ever watch that?
I'm not sure they have the patience.
Did you ever read the book Good Omens?
No, I didn't.
I highly recommend it. It's on Netflix. It's on Netflix and Prime as well. Go watch Good Omens. It's about these two angels. Okay. Well,
I have watched it. Yes.
The angel and the demon, and they have all sorts of strategies, right, for good and evil. But this is a real life good omen playing out right now. Because I mean, like, there are so many levels to this. Like, it's so complex. My mind has been at this for the last how many hours since reading that link that you sent me. If you get the children involved in this, okay, the children learn that you have a whole bunch of different argumentation. You have the shamanic argument, which says nature is cruel, we are cruel too. There's no innocence in nature. Okay? Right. Because nature will freeze a little baby bird that has just been born and let it fall out. They have used these. Listen, I've spoken to people who are warped in the head. Then they use the other argument. It is compassionate to accept everyone. And if you're not accepting everyone, but it's only the people that were not accepted before you need to accept. All right? So as an example, if a Bible thumper shows up at your doorstep and tries to sell you a Wake magazine, slam, right? However, there's a demon summoning going down downstairs. We're going down downtown. We're going to the demon summoning. So you sacrifice your dignity, your spiritual integrity on the altar of compassion. That's what's happening here.
I can't help but think that it might be a good experiment. I'm quite looking forward to seeing what happens, because there's probably going to be, the people that turn up there are probably the ones that, are going to these transvestite reading things to the children, or lots of people with blue hair, or lots of these people who have these weak minds. And, it's going to be an interesting experiment, because I can see there's a lot of backlash online. There's a lot of backlash to what's been going on with these kind of movements already. And it will attract a very specific type of clientele. So we're probably likely to see way more meltdowns on the internet than we have previously, especially if they begin to find other ways to do this around the world.
Yes, and it'll fuel the energy source that's happening.
And fuel the adversity to it as well, fuel the adversity to it as well.
You remember 2 or 3 months ago, earlier this year, Balenciaga.
Yes, and that got swept under the carpet.
Balenciaga put a bunch of kids in lingerie. We're talking about 5-6 years old,
right? As
a marketing platform, and the PR company, they said it's the PR company's fault. You put a 5-6-year-old girl in lingerie, you put it out on social media, okay? Sick as shit. You put it out on social media, and people obviously had a reaction to it. Why are you sexualizing this little girl?
Yeah.
Balenciaga said, oh, it was the PR company's fault. So everybody's like, who okayed this? Not the final buck in an advertising campaign, in a marketing campaign, lies with the company. But they tried to obscure the facts. The media refused to cover it, but it was a real thing that actually happened. So Balenciaga did.
Didn't one of the kids turn out to be a traffic kid?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Much like the Bud Light scenario.
You see,
Yeah. How did Bud Light, the classic American beer for the guy from the South, the West, et cetera, suddenly go full woke, man pretending to be a woman doing their DEI thing?
this is honestly,
Everybody abandoned it. Everybody abandoned it.
This is
Violently.
how I feel about certain things, right? Listen to me. If I was a member of a minority, right, I wouldn't try to fit in to what the majority is doing. I would make my own shit. I would make my own shit. If the churches didn't accept me, I would make my own church. It would be as simple as that. If something is being marketed to guys with beards and who drive pickup trucks and who shoot shotguns, I just described half of my province that I live in. If anybody from Saskatchewan is watching this broadcast, right? If I was not being marketed to, I would make my own beer. I really would. Okay. And
especially if you drank.
Has to be taken.
Yeah.
Right. I would make, not that I drink, right, but I would make my own beer. That's exactly how I think. That's exactly how I think. The reason why they're trying to push, it's a push. It's a push. And this evil stuff, this demonology nonsense is now a push, because evil does not have to be subtle anymore. It doesn't.
No. Great point. Evil doesn't need to be subtle anymore. That's the crazy line we've crossed.
Yeah, it's acceptable.
Because you can't blame these. I'm not talking about Satanism here, but you can't blame the fringe communities. I remember the first time I ever went and spent time in gay bars. It was like a subculture that was existing in and around everyone that no one else got to see, and it was fascinating to me when I first saw it, and the amount of business potential within that subculture, the amount of different potential there is, within that subculture. And those guys, they didn't want everybody to accept and include them so much. They were happy in their community, and it was a flourishing community. And so, it makes me wonder how much of this is actually driven by actual people, or how much of it is just a hidden agenda for a very specific purpose. Because I can't see lots of people taking their children to a demon summoning ritual. I just can't see it.
No, Maty, you'd be surprised. You would be surprised. People will go to it just on the thought of being inclusive and open. Let me give you my example.
They deserve a demon.
Let me give you my real story example. I'm sitting down in a esoteric bookstore. Guy walks in. He's all tripped out to Gothland. Okay. He's apparently the representative for the Satanic Temple where I live. Okay. So you know me, I'm curious. I got questions. Okay. So the Satanic Temple has to be separated from the Luciferians, because they really would want to just have an equitable society where there's no religious prejudice. But here's the problem with that. The Satanic Temple was doing a tampon drive. They were giving out free tampons to the homeless.
Because that's the first thing they need.
That was real. That is a real thing. A menstruation product, a sanitary product drive. They're giving out sanitary products to the homeless. Do you see how twisted that is at so many different levels? Because what is the principal ingredient in a Luciferian ceremony?
Blood from a woman on her period.
Menstrual blood.
I listen, when I heard that, he was going well, he was telling me that he wants equity in terms of the systems of oppression that have held back different religious groups, and they don't identify with Luciferianism. And I'm like, oh, this is very interesting, okay? Because I know the root word of Satan means to resist, right? So he's resisting. I'm totally with him, and then you tell me that you have a drive to give menstrual products. So, to the homeless. And then you lost me right there at that point. Because because you tried to mix a sort of a sort of congenial happy act with the intentionality to shock the shit out of people. So now, imagine you're on the street and this golfed out guy comes up to you. Would you like a tampon? I don't care.
I'll take $5.
I don't care how homeless I am. Like, it's okay. I'm good. I'm good. Right? These are the things that are actually happening. Right? The Satanic Temple, the guy that you showed up, Joel, pull up the picture. This guy, we showed it a little earlier on. This guy, what he has been doing has been finding ways to antagonize religious people, which is fine because we do it ourselves. I find it funny when they freak out. I mean, like, there's not a Jehovah's Witness I wouldn't like to freak out right now, right? Right. But the fact of the matter is the way they're doing it is not cool. They're being driven, right? Everything is energy. Everything is an agenda. And they're being controlled as well. This guy has been causing quite a stir.
He looks totally trustworthy.
Doesn't he?
Oh,
Jack?
yeah.
Totally
Yeah.
trustworthy.
I'd leave him with the kids.
Yeah.
You would leave him with the kids.
What's
So this guy has been what he's doing is trying to take down symbols of religion everywhere. So he's suing organizations, school boards, and stuff like that. What he tried to push for was an after-school Satan club in schools, right? And guess where the headquarters of this is? In Salem, right? This is for your witches out there, for you guys who are witches out there. This man put his headquarters in Salem. Why do you think that is?
Witches trials were there?
Yeah. Everything is about energy in the end, you see, and people don't see it. But I do think that this event, if it is allowed to go, it will harvest a large amount of energy, a large amount.
Yeah. Which is interesting, David, about what you're talking about, handing menstrual products to homeless people, because you're giving something that has access to menstrual blood from a magical practitioner to some of the most haunted people in the planet.
Yep.
It's not difficult to see what's going on.
Once again, it's genius.
Yeah, I have to say, I was like,
Tapping
wow.
into the raw resources.
Yeah.
That's like finding oil in Saudi Arabia for them.
You've got to give it to them.
and they keep coming up with unique selling points, don't they?
Yes. In California, my friend Temple, she's a witch. So Temple, if you're watching this, they had a church bashing ceremony. So they made an effigy of a church, a huge effigy, and they invited people who had issues with the church to come and beat the church up like a piñata. Then, can you imagine that the place was crowded? Because everybody didn't have enough capacity for people rolling up inside there just to get a crack at this church. Okay, the point here is that people are angry and they're using their anger against them, right? Even if you didn't like the church, let's say you didn't like the church and so on, you're gonna leave your house to go downtown to beat up a cement church? Seriously?
No. But one that might have candy come out of it at the end, yes.
Yeah.
No. I don't know, man. I don't know. There's some things that are happening in society. I am going to tell you guys right now. You can't cancel me. I'm not afraid of being canceled. I will speak up, obviously, right?
Yeah.
Right. I will never agree with twisting up little children. I'm never going to agree with that.
Me neither.
All right.
So why has society come to this level where grooming children, hopefully the channel doesn't get used for using the G word, okay? Because that is grooming. What's going on with a lot of the DEI rules that they're trying to get into schools, why is it come now?
Wouldn't you say, Andrew, you've always said like the paedophilia stuff has been going on for thousands of years.
Yes.
Yeah.
So in many ways, this isn't new.
No, it's renewed, a renewal of it.
Can I tell you
The Romans, before they were Catholic, were doing it all the time. Children were a commodity.
Openly.
I want to tell you the microprocesses that go on in the mind of somebody who abuses children, okay? Because you're thinking, it's a little girl. Why the hell would I? How are you getting aroused? What they're not seeing the little girl. They're seeing innocence and the ability to dominate and control. This cannot be stressed enough, because I understand that they're changing the name of pedophilia to minor attracted people. Okay? It does not in any way soften, right, the fact that what goes on, the sub-processes that go on, and I don't know why more psychiatrists, psychologists are not speaking up. The sub-processes that go on when these men look at a child is that child is innocent. That child doesn't know anything about sexuality. I am not only going to teach that child, but I will teach that child how to please me. That is absolute domination and control. So no matter if you could make up whatever fancy terms that you want, okay? The fact of the matter, the sub-processes are the same. The next part is that they want to make a division between minor attracted people, what they call, and people who are engaged in pedophilia. Okay? Now, here's the problem with that. If you think about raping a child because it's rape, if you think about raping a child and if you rape a child, you think there's a big difference? From an energetic perspective, is there a big difference?
Only a manifestation.
Yes, there is. The trauma you're doing is lifelong for that being. So if I call myself a petroleum transfer agent, gas attendant agent, Hobart technician, dishwasher, I'm still a dishwasher or a gas station attendant.
Yeah.
And if you're a minor attracted person, you're still a pedophilia.
Yeah. And
changing the name doesn't change the intention.
And what's even worse than that, you're going to bring a child to a demon summoning. What do you call these people?
Cultists. Cultists. What else could you call them?
Mm-hmm. Stupid. Victims.
Well, that goes. Victimizers.
Victimizers.
I'm wondering how much more crazy this can get, because I think we've reached the pinnacle at this point. Like,
have we?
No,
have we?
Every time I say that shit, something else happens. Every time I say, like, oh, it can't get any crazier than this, more shit happens. We had entertainers in the rap industry. You remember rap back in the day? Hip hop and rap and so on? Going demonic. You got Sam Smith doing demonic stuff at the Grammys, right? An institution that is supposed to award people who are excelling in their industry. I don't know. I just feel like what we're seeing is a takeover. It's not subtle. It's not subtle anymore.
It is like they're testing the defenses.
So sorry, Maty.
No, go on, Laura.
No, I was just going to say they actually don't need to be so subtle, do they? They don't have to be.
They feel brave enough because they've managed to get enough of this wokeism and enough of this rhetoric out there that it's become so mainstream that it seems like now they're testing to see, what kind of backlash we're going to get from this. And how, then you might begin to see certain things become mainstream, such as satanic churches and regular magical practices.
Yeah, how far can we take it?
So they're already mainstream. No, they're already mainstream.
Yep, they're doing it in the music videos.
Oh, that's true. That's very true.
They're doing it in music videos.
The Super Bowl.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Olympics. The British Olympics.
Yeah.
all about child slavery and child workers being abused. Come on.
Can I point out something to you? It used to be that people could see clearly. So I had arguments. I speak to people to figure out where they're coming from. We had a situation out here where there was an event for little children, and the Planned Parenthood of Canada sent a bunch of flashcards to the event. Okay. The flashcards were A for asexual, B for blowjob, C, let's not go down that road. Okay, let's not go down. And they had to prosecute them. There was a big uproar against prosecuting the people because they're trying to just do something different, and they're trying to be inclusive and stuff like that. So I spoke to one of the parents, Andrew. I did. She says she doesn't understand why people have this inverted commas. She used your phrase, stick up their ass, right? Where children and sexuality is concerned. I said, because children are supposed to be innocent. You were allowed to enjoy your childhood. Why is it that other people can't, other entities can't enjoy their childhood? And she says, because this generation, the generation that we are in, has grown up hurt, twisted, and bent. And if they knew stuff when they were younger, that's what they're telling these people, okay? Right? If they knew stuff when they were younger, then it wouldn't be that way. I want to see that argument applied to this demonology nonsense.
So, David, a while back, I sent you a TikTok video about the mayor of a town who walked into a school board meeting and announced to everyone in the school board that the changes that you have made in the books that you approved are pornography. I've delivered it to the actual prosecuted identity that calls it child pornography. You all have a choice right now to resign from your positions in complete and total before the end of this meeting, or be arrested for distributing child pornography.
Yes.
Update from that. They tried to resist and they were arrested, and it's now a prosecutorial fight.
Good.
And there's a lot of money behind all of these people, DEI money behind these school board people to defend them.
Yes, that case that I told you about this morning that I'm now embroiled in, that was unbelievable. That case this morning, it's a private school, for those of you who don't know, and one of the teachers went to one of the rich people's kids and says to them, if you want to be a girl, it's okay, I can help you. Yeah, that didn't go down well.
Right.
It really didn't go down well. It went down like Mount Vesuvius. It went down bad.
So, David, just so you know, there are special meetings for teachers to be trained on how to tell students to not tell their parents about this. These are sponsored by the frickin' teachers unions through DEI money as part of their continuing education credits as teachers.
The only people that...
There's an entire infrastructure of support for the teachers for this, as well as, if you get sued, money to defend yourself.
Okay, so let's make it this very simple, okay? Children are inquisitive beings. They're curious beings. If there is a child and I teach the child about sexuality, the child becomes amenable to try shit out. Okay? So the only people who benefit from doing that nonsense are the people that want to have sex with these kids.
Yes.
Okay, so if you are going to say something along the lines of, oh, we got to teach this child sexuality, that child is going to want to try it out, which makes that child so much more vulnerable to people who would like to have sex with that kid. Which brings us to the next issue. Why the hell you want to have sex with children for? Only domination and control, dragging energy from them.
Grooming. It's part of the grooming process of the communities that are trying to promote these gender ideologies.
Yeah. And hopefully in 20 years, some of these children will have children who will have this already pre-programmed into them without the state having to do it.
With demonology on board as well.
Yeah,
So
with
now you
optional
have
demonology too.
active psychic warfare on a whole different level. Because the average racist person down the road does not have enough strength to cause you a lot of damage. But a child with imaginations and wonder still intact, with intentionality, is a lethal thing. Because adults think, for as an example, and I want to show you the magical perspective here. Adults think that they are magically enabled. No, a child is magically enabled because a child doesn't understand the barriers to manifestation. You learned barriers to manifestation when you went to school. You learned, I can't do this, I can't do that, I can't. A child doesn't have that on board. When a child wishes for something, they're wishing with everything in their being. So you have a whole generation of active, super strong psychic children. They're throwing shit out there. I don't like what you're wearing today. Well, you got to die. Sorry. Right? I'm gonna go in my little basement, light my little black candle. I'm gonna wish that you get run over by a truck. Right? When an adult does that, the rationality will block. Well, not block. It will dissipate a lot of that energy. When a child,
less belief.
yeah. When a child does that, a child is lethal that way. Yeah.
That's why they want to get them young.
I don't.
There's the answer. That's why they want to get them young, to have lethal weapons when they grow older.
Yeah, without the barriers of rationality on board. Nasty. That's like, oof. And the innocence stripped away from them, because having sex with a child will reduce that child's innocence, but it will keep the parts of the child that make that child a lethal psychic weapon. Huh?
And you can also see how they bring in the separation of that child from the parents, and how involved they are by, like, families where both parents have to work long hours to survive. Therefore, the kids have to go to after school clubs. They have to go to a lot of these places that take place of what the parents would do. So the parents are getting less control in many ways over what their kids are doing, just because they're in survival.
Or worse, prosecution if they don't.
Absolutely. Yep.
They passed that law in California. If you do not do what your child says, your child is getting taken away from you. You read that?
Yep.
Wow.
So this is the reality for a lot of parents in California. If your little girl child walks up to you and says, this is reminding me of the Nazi agenda. For those of you who haven't read Mein Kampf, have you read Mein Kampf? Or
Some of it. Not a lot.
Just a sick person. This is how you build a soldiering force. You remove innocence first of all. Once you remove innocence, you take out the conscience. This is child soldier rearing. Take out the conscience. This is how you remove innocence from a young child soldier. You beat the shit out of him. Okay? You beat the shit out of him so that he understands that the world is a cruel place and he has to be cruel to survive. You take him to the brink of beating the shit out of him. In this case, you have sex with a child and you take away their power. Then that child has to understand that the only way to get power is by becoming strong. Right? You disconnect their conscience from the equation, but you keep the parts of them that are lethal as hell. The desire to want to make the pain stop. The desire to want to make pain stop is something that really people should really take on board, because if a child is continually abused, that child will turn into something you don't like, given half the chance, if you point him in the right direction, which is why I'm telling you, in 20, 30 years from now, you have a bunch of genderless, abused, hurt people with wonder still on board, because reality has been broken inside their minds. So they don't have rationality on board. That is a psychic force of negativity the world has never seen before. Not even Hitler's area could
A
compare to that.
brand new harvestable loosh, unlike anything ever before. Which once again says they don't want population decline, they want population refinement. They want to refine the weaponized human.
I don't know. I mean, the therapists are overwhelmed. Every therapist. I have an entire association, 2 associations that I belong, 3 associations that I belong to. There isn't one of them that isn't tired, fatigued, wanting to get out. The shit that is coming inside their office, they don't have enough training for. And that's above their pay grade. They're like, nah, I didn't sign up for this. And it's not adults coming inside the office anymore. The majority of people in therapist's office right now, I could tell you with absolute certainty, right, are 20 and down. Why?
Because problems are given to them. You know, there's an a la carte menu here. Which problem would you want to have? What do you want to identify with? Here's all the different ailments that we have. Which one would you like? It's pushed.
And if you don't have it, we'll make it up for you.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm making an AI psychotherapist. That is the only way to battle that.
Oh, right? The Dennis, was his name Dennis, the one that died from cancer. His therapy was shut the fuck up. That's it. Next.
Dennis
Leary. Shut the fuck up. Next.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. No cure for cancer.
I want to add something here. David, you talked about the majority of the people are 20 and under. And then there's the next group, the 35 and up. And the next group, the 60 plus. Okay. All with completely unique and different issues, so widely varied that there's no way one psychotherapist can be prepared to deal with that variety of garbage and bullshit.
Yeah. Because a psychotherapist is trained to deal with certain parameters of mental health. They have broken the parameters. It's totally way outside the scope. Freud could have never imagined any of this shit here. You think that that the average Freudian psychotherapist can deal with what's out here? Nope. They can't.
First of all, why is anybody trusting Freud, considering he was blowed out on coke for most of his life? He had a cigar a day. He was making an ounce of fucking pure Peruvian gold every day, smoking it in a cigar. Why would anyone trust anything coming out of that man's mouth?
Well, let's put it this way. Bob Marley used to smoke weed, and look at what came out of his mouth.
Cocaine, big difference. Big difference.
Led Zeppelin, hello. Ozzy Osbourne. That's an entire generation of music.
Big difference, weed to cocaine, David. Big difference.
Agreed. Yeah, but the other part of it is that why would I? Okay, I am very much against Freudian psychoanalyst. When I was in school, I got berated because I am like, for those of you who don't know, let me just give you an idea of Freudian theory. He got his theories from hypnotizing the German population. So he said that when they hypnotized them, some of them realized that they had a split with their mother or father because they really wanted their mother. And when he said wanted their mother, he meant that wanted their mother. Okay? They wanted to crawl back up into the birth canal. Right? Called the Oedipus complex, and the Electra complex, the girl with the father bit. And the first psychological problem comes when they witness their parents having sex. Yeah. Okay. Because, the father is taking the mother, which belongs to the infant. Yeah. Shit like that. So you could tell that this man was definitely on coke, right? Definitely. Okay. Right. But my point is, he got that from hypnotizing the German population. So that is not a true sample of the world population. That is not a true sampling of the world's population. So I am going to disqualify that, right? When you apply this theory in actual practice, assuming that somebody comes into your office, Andrew, let's say you came into my office, you say, David, yeah, I'm having marital problems. All right. And I say, all right, no problem, Andrew. I'm going to get into your mind and we're going to deal with this situation. And I say to you, Andrew, you know, the majority of your problems come because you actually want your mom. That would cause you a bigger like whatever problem you had before has just waned in comparison to the shit I just told you, right? Let's say you discovered like you have a deep-seated sexual desire for your mother. That would be a problem. That would be a freaking problem. Okay. But this is the root of a lot of psychology approaches, which is why I say modern medicine, all these techniques and so on, they came from very dubious roots. Okay. Right. They came from very dubious roots.
Dubious doesn't even begin to describe it.
Right. So this man wrote a whole thesis on this thing, and this has become the foundation, the father of modern psychoanalysis. Right. I'm like, nah. So I am thinking that these people with the demon summoning, I think what is happening is that they want to bring people into a space where there's togetherness. Does that make sense?
Inclusionary, equity, and diversity.
It's also creating a magical underclass, because a lot of this magic has been done, with tacit consent and so forth. Things like the Super Bowl. But this is adding a whole nother layer to it. This is not just subliminal anymore. This is actually saying, "Come, be a magical practitioner, but stay in your box." It's quite clever, but it's just how much backlash will there actually be? Because it does seem that every time they push. I mean, you mentioned the racist down the street, and if there's one thing I know that will get the racist down the street and the opposing racist in the townhouse to come together is the children.
Yeah,
we share that common bond. You don't fuck with the children.
Stop hating long enough to do that.
Mm-hmm.
The other part of it is the macro part. Okay, at a micro level, and I say at a country level, the United States is being overrun by a very negative force. Yep. But then they're trying to get the politicians to export this stuff to every country on earth. England is also being overrun by a very negative force. I see it. When I look at the news, it's a sad day when I open the news and I see some autistic chick being arrested for saying something that a police officer didn't like.
Yeah, and the Scottish National Party are trying to reduce the age of consent to 10.
What?
The Scottish National Party, the SNP, the Scottish National Party, are trying to reduce the age of consent to 10, to be inclusive.
You know what that does, right? I mean, you'll understand the impact of that.
Uh-huh.
Because from just from a developmental standpoint, you're not supposed to be having sex at 10 and 11. Physical developmental standpoint, you're not supposed to be having sex at 10. It actually increases when you have sex early in your adolescent. It increases your risk of cervical cancer. It does. But that's not even the brunt of it. I mean, that's just wrong. I remember a saying in and Andrew would remember this saying in a country that we visited. Andrew, you remember the saying? A pedophile saying, anything past 12 is lunch. That was a real freaking saying. Like, the level of sick you have to be to say this shit is unbelievable. So basically, even if they wanted to reduce it, I would put that at 13, but I wouldn't put that at 10. Because 10, the majority of women prior to 10 years old have not seen a menstrual cycle as yet, correct?
Correct.
Unfortunately, that has been reduced. The average menstrual cycle age is about 10 now, David.
10.
Yeah, it's been here in the States because of all the hormones in the food.
Yeah, my girls are about 12, 11, 12.
That's messed up. But there's a discussion in the chat. Marissa says, so we've addressed a lot of the problematic issues. Now what do we do with this info? How do we work with what's before us versus going further down the rabbit hole? Marissa, I have some you want the good news or the bad news? You want good news?
Bad news.
Always start with bad.
The bad news is that this has been thought about, I suspect, for decades, which means that this has been a systematic, slow, incremental increase in what has happened over time. Or else, if you tried this in the 60s, you'd be hung, drawn, and quartered, okay? Right? If you tried this in the 70s, the same. The 80s, the same. But it is 2023. They're having a demonic summoning. And there are going to be a large majority of the population that are going to say, leave these people alone, let them do their demon summoning. So fighting it is not practical because it's infiltrated the media, the politicians, and the businesses. And they have understood that the way you control a society is through economics and the politics. Okay? Because if you speak up against it, you might go broke. So you keep quiet. Right? So, okay, that's the bad news. The good news is...
The good news? It's right in front of you. It's right in front of you, and you can see it now.
And so
there's no more hiding it.
And even the muggles can see it, and they're pissed too.
I've said this on the previous shows, Andrew. The spiritual community are going to be the last line of defense against this thing. And I tell you this with all earnest, and I'll tell you why. Because in spirituality, you don't get to outsource your development to anybody else.
You don't outsource source.
No.
Correct.
And that is the resolution. That is the remedy to all of this. It comes down to the fact, just like the awakening, it's an individual process. And it's the same with our friends, our families, our lives. We can't fight this. We can't, they're not going to do it, because the moment that you do, you'll face that backlash. But you just have to make sure that your life is on point. Your moral code is on point. Your practice is on point. And so is you as a parent. And that's becoming more and more relevant as the years go on.
Which makes your daily practice even more important moving forward.
Step up.
Because it is your daily practice that gives you the fundamentals at such a deep practice layer that when you practice the advanced skills, they're as easy as the basics and the fundamentals.
Yeah, Andrew, I want to say something here. When we're talking about strategy, I want to say something here. The spiritual communities are not different. I don't consider myself or yourself or anybody else superior than the little old lady who goes to the church and prays earnestly with all her heart. Okay?
Yeah.
Right? But the little old lady who goes to church and prays earnestly with all her heart will never combine these spiritual communities. The people who are trying to promote light in this world will never combine because of their prejudice. So a Christian person is not going to come on this show and says, yes, this is wrong with us. No, oh no, because we're the demons, right? See Maty with his little hat there, right? Right? We're the demons, and they will not combine. So to answer your question, Marissa, that is part of the bad news. The people are on the side of light who are not necessarily spiritual people. They are religious people who are really decent and good people. They won't combine with spiritual people to try to do anything. So fighting is not the best thing that you could do. And I'm reminded of a movie here, and I want everybody who's in this chat, actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make it part of UCM movie night, to watch a movie called The Stand by Stephen King.
Great movie.
That is exactly what's happening to our society. right? The Stand is a very important movie because it's showing that you can't fight the majority when economics and politics have locked you down. Because opening your mouth will land you in jail. It'll get you tortured and it'll get you assassinated or killed.
So, something else to see from the positive point of view of all of this. Now that it's in front of you, what choices do you have to make? What strategies can you make that don't embroil you in forever war with the system, which has just put war in front of you by intention for you to embroil into it?
I'm staying home.
It's a demon summoning. Even if you go to protest it, you've lost.
Yeah.
Well, you just don't want to engage those energies, do you?
But you can't keep your head under the sand like an ostrich, can you?
That's why it's valid that we bring it up on a show like this.
Awareness.
And for those of you who are watching the show, who will be watching the show in the future, in the past, who want to think, oh, you're being bigoted, right? We don't care. We don't care. We don't.
Their judgment means nothing to us.
Yeah.
And
it's an interesting concept because the thing is that there's something that hasn't been spoken about here. And this is the demons themselves. And us guys here, we come from a very unique perspective on this because we're not hating on the demons. Don't get us wrong. They cause plenty of trouble. But the demons aren't the problem. It's this medium. It's this bridge in between. This is the issue that we're having. And there's all kinds of other issues when you start to bring in the demons themselves, what they're capable of, what they want out of their societies. It's not always exactly the same as what these middlemen scenarios going on here. But that's a big subject.
I will once again liken it to finding oil in the desert.
Yeah.
Okay?
yeah.
They've struck it rich with this marketing plan. Okay? They did it with the Super Bowl. They did it with a whole bunch of others where billions and millions of people were watching. And through tacit consent, you watched it and go, huh? What the fuck is that? And went on to whoever the superstar singing was, whatever. Until, a decade later, all the shit comes out. Now that it's in front of us, you have a chance to strategize through your daily, weekly, monthly, and yearly practice to make sure that energy can't enter your field and in effect infect your reality.
Yes, you're telling them that, but I'm telling you, a lot of these people that are in the chat right now, Andrew, their reaction is going to be to fight. Before you fight,
Sure.
before you start to fight, before you even consider it, make sure that your nose is clean first, or else you're just demon food. That came out so badly, right? Right. Make sure that your nose is clean first before you start to fight. My best advice to these people is keep your environment clean as possible, right? Because there's throughout history.
David, what does a clean environment look like for the average everyday listener who doesn't understand it from the way we do?
Okay, make sure that there are little hearts floating up to the ceiling in your house. Make sure that your house is fortified. Make sure that you're respecting nature. Okay. Make sure you're not doing something evil or wasteful. Doing things. Let's break this down to the basic. Okay. You meditate. You do your spiritual practice. You bring respect to people. You try to give people a smile, even though they tell you they greet you with the middle finger, like, "Why are you smiling at me?" Right? You give people a smile, and you try to make sure your environment is clean. You sage your house. You do whatever you need to do inside your space. Because I have a theory about this, Andrew. You see, and this repeats itself in history, and this is not going to be too much different. There's going to be a point, a critical mass point for all of this shit to come.
Yes.
And it's kind of like having little cancerous boils. The light will be the cancerous boils on that body. They're trying to purge the light like cancer. Okay, the light will be the cancerous boils in that body that is going to start infecting the body mass. Because one thing that I do realize about people, the way illness works, if you don't purge it completely from your system, it's going to come back. Okay, and they're trying to purge it from their system, which is why they're making it difficult for people who are light bringers to exist in society, aka what happened the last 3 years. That was a thing. That they made life difficult. The coercion was on another level. In Canada, where I live, there is no more freedom. Don't even try to argue with me. You're going to tell me, David, you look pretty free, whatever else. Let me tell you something. If there's a truckers convoy down the street and they're trying to say protest their rights and the government disagrees with them and I support them, I can have my bank accounts frozen. No more access to money. That would not be freedom.
Nope, that's tyranny.
I just every day like I live honestly. Just stay in your house. Just stay at home. Like come on the show. Like talk to my friends there, right? And just keep your house clean. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. Be aware of everything that's going on, but you don't have to indulge in it. And know that awareness doesn't require you to give energy to anything. You're just aware. And then as things get crazier and crazier and you see it around you, you're ready. You're sanctified. Personal practice, cleaning your inner and outer environments.
Get yourself
Remember
grounded
this.
in a good reality.
Knowing this is half the battle. Half the battle is knowing.
Mm-hmm.
The other half of the battle is maintaining balance with what you know.
Yeah.
Because when you learn what you can't handle, you become unbalanced with it. Knowing is half the battle, and sharing is caring. But understand in this modern world, there are people who don't want you to share with them. So be careful with who you share. Do not blanket this everywhere on all of your social media to the people who don't care. It is a waste of effort, a waste of time. So many light workers the last 7 years had just been over posting the garbage and bullshit, and everyone's become numb to whatever it is that you have out there.
Yeah.
Or have put you on mute or ignore so many times, and you think you're getting through, but you're not. Stop trying to convert others like the Catholic missionaries of old. If they're going to change, they're going to change on their own, not because you stepped in their life and converted them like a missionary.
And you've got to remember, I mean, with the unseen world, as much as there's the demons and those on this side working with them, and the unseen is also great mystery and great spirit, which is who we work with. Work with the universe, work with those energies to manifest the sort of life that is outside of that. Still be aware of it, but you can still live a good life.
And remember that
even in this crazy world,
and all phenomenon are one thing. Poverty and rich are the same, two parts of the same thing, wealth. And this goes for these kind of activities. If you oppose them, you become a part of it.
Which is why my best advice, and you guys know me long enough to know, my best advice is laugh at every freaking thing you can. Because that demonology thing, I'm finding it actually a little bit funny. Can you imagine a bunch of people running up? Everybody doesn't want to go to hell, except, of course, if it's held in a museum.
So what if it's a Hindu demon who doesn't even...
Nobody wants to go to hell unless it's held in a museum. Thanks, Amy. Right, anyway,
hold on, Dave. What if it's a Hindu demon who doesn't believe in Catholic hell?
Yeah.
Why would you be there? Why would you be there? Listen.
For fun.
All his other demon buddies are showing up to the kid-friendly event.
Have you ever seen a statue of Shiva, Shakti, or Kali? You've seen it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
What the
Isn't
hell?
that sad?
You manifesting Kali in your life for? You know, what gave it away? Was it the parade of weapons around her? Or was it her holding the head of some decapitated guy? Like, I'm not like, what the hell? Like, what the hell? Like, oh, we're having a demon summit. We're working with Kali energy. Every time I hear somebody say that, I'm like, you working with what? I'm working with Mark Kali. I'm working with Kali energy. I'm like, oh, okay. All right, let me know how that turns out. All right, because I'm going to be reading about you in the paper, okay? I'm like looking at these people. I'm like, I think people are way too curious or have too much time on their hands, honestly speaking.
So what about the jinn of the Bible, David? What are they going to do at this demon summoning event?
Have good fun.
Well, the jinn of the Bible.
We all have our own knowledge and wisdom. Let's just pull back the curtain and think all of these different groups from all of these different religions and histories of time, how would they react to this? How would the jinn react, David, in your view?
If they were being summoned? Okay.
Yes.
For those of us who don't know what a jinn are, they're genies, not the little...
Because they're asking you to summon your lineage demons that haunt you and trap them into this, literally.
Now I see where you're going with that. Let me explain something to you. You got jinn. The jinn are genies. You know, you rub the lamp and a guy pops out and gives you 3 wishes. Except the wishes that you wish for destroy you, right? Because be careful what you wish for, right? Because it will destroy you. That's the ethos of the jinn. So there you are trying to encapsulate the jinn in your little bottle, as an example. And the jinn are fire beings, so you put it inside the bottle, and then you figure that all is well with the world. I'll get my 3 wishes a little bit later. I'm going to make the jinn my friend. Let me tell you how they would react very badly. They would mess your shit up. Okay? Let me give you an example of how a jinn works. You wish for $20 million. The jinn would put you into an automobile. You drive down the road. You'd get into a car crash, be quadriplegic, and your settlement will be $20 million. You got your $20 million.
Yeah.
That's how jinn works.
So what if a jinn and a Kali demon or whatever all get summoned at the same lineage trapping?
The point of Ma Kali is that she tries to enlighten you, inverted commas, by burning the shit out of you. A lot of people don't survive. Okay? So the way Kali energy works is that, Kali, I want to be close to you. I don't know the array of weapons and the decapitated head. I want to be close to you. Okay, well, I must make sure that you're pure. Right? So it's like, you remember Reiki, the healing crisis? Imagine that multiplied by about 1 billion. Imagine that multiplied by 10. Like everything goes wrong. You wake up in the morning, you stub your toe, right? You fall down the flight of steps and you wanted to take the elevator. You get into a car crash. That is what Kali energy does. It takes you to the brink of whatever, which is why people, the Kali's followers, the thugs, by the way, that's where the word thugs came from. Thuggies, right? That's why Kali's followers, they didn't do anything else. They didn't work. They didn't have a job. That's what if you're doing Kali, you're doing that. So you can imagine somebody summoning Kali and deciding that this is what that I'm doing with your life. You might as well just drop everything, including your family, because your family is going to die.
So once again, David, let's say the guy's teaching the class. Okay, you got a Hindu woman that comes up with her kids for diversity, equity, inclusion, trying to get her kids to be a part of the great melting pot of America. Okay, and then you have a classic Catholic demon Asmodeus, first Lord of Hell.
Like?
Yeah. What would it be like from the unseen world's perspective?
Collaboration.
They would be pissed, first of all. Like, get your shit correct. From the unseen world perspective, they would be pissed. Everybody in the unseen world would be pissed. Okay, looking at them like, oh no, we're going to. When we finish with y'all, there's not going to be anything. We're gonna.
So the demons would form a temporary union with each other.
Yes, we're gonna fuck you to dust. Is exactly what comes to mind, right? Right. That's exactly what comes to mind, right? We're gonna fuck. They would form a temporary union, and because you see, the ritual that he would teach these people would be a generalized ritual, which is not advised what it is that you're dealing with.
Exactly. And this is what people don't seem to, this is what they're thinking about, almost like it's a toy. Or what?
Okay. What happens if Loki, trickster god of the Norse, comes into all this?
Yeah.
And
at the same time.
Oh, listen.
It sees all the demons. Who's he going to pick? Fuck with the humans who are boring or fuck with the demons?
Mm-hmm.
This is a cacophony of shit. All right, you can't use a general ritual to bring up lineage demons, what you're going to end up doing is having a soup of shit, pissed off entities, right? Because the thing is, let's say you're summoning your demons and you have a bunch of mix of people, okay, with different backgrounds, which is what you try to ask Andrew, I suspect. You have people from Scotland. Sorry for the Scots that had to deal with Maty and Laura. Right. You have people from Scotland, you have people from Ireland, you have people from
Mexico, Japan,
Africa.
Nourishes.
And then you're using this general ceremony, and all of these entities are hearing the earnest prayers and incantations of these people to pull them into their reality. Okay. There's going to be a traffic jam of pissed off entities, good and bad.
Yeah. And they have friends. This is the people are missing out on this part. They have friends. They have communities. They have bonds with each other. So you're going to trap a demon or trap. What do you think is going to happen? You know, I mean, trap a djinn. I mean, we know, don't we, Andrew? You take out one djinn, what happens? The rest of them are going to fucking come for you, right?
First of all, the trap is never going to work. No. Okay. They know it.
I don't know. Something they learned a lesson since Aladdin.
Yes.
But you don't think they watch Disney movies as well?
They took over Disney, don't worry. Okay. Now to further this concept, so there's this traffic jam of demons trying to get in, okay, in a museum of ancient history and art. That's the cultural center of the city. That was made by a bunch of masons. That was made by a bunch of masons 150 years ago. What could go wrong?
It's a museum.
Everything.
It's a museum. I have a friend of mine out here who goes around the world and pays people to give him the artifacts of their culture. Illegal as hell. Then he brings it into his luggage and people just think, oh, you've been to a tourist market, but it's real shit, right?
Yeah.
And he's not doing well.
No.
He's not doing well.
Surprise, surprise.
He's not doing well. Okay.
So, David, just for my own folly, and for everyone's here at the end, you have this mass traffic jam. You have the demon summoning going on. What happens to the days, weeks, and months afterwards in that museum?
Number one, I'm never going to Minneapolis, so I'm never going to step in that entire. Right. That place must be one of the most haunted places at this point, just by intentionality alone. Just by intentionality, that place must be in that museum. That museum is going to be a hotbed of esoteric activity. And it's not the kind of esoteric, because it's not one person or two people that will be attending this event. And then the protesters outside with their demons participating tacitly in a ceremony to summon negativity into this realm. Okay? You remember Ghostbusters, the second movie, where all shit started to melt down? That would be what that looks like. Okay? So you go up into that museum and you're like, la la la, let's come into here to see the artifacts. Oh, what's this?
Jumps right into you.
Right, because it's unawareness that is the enemy. It's unawareness that is the enemy. You know, because you're there and you're just there to see the artifacts, and then you go home and you're feeling a little bit tired. Let me just rest for a moment.
And then life starts going wrong for you.
What that looks like. That's exactly what that looks like.
Now, for one final comedic process, what do the angels and the good guys do when this is going on?
They're probably smoking a cigar, saying, damn, these humans are dumb. We're done. Can you imagine all the answer? Right? Like,
same thing as I'm thinking of doing.
Like, yeah. It doesn't get more stupid than this. They're probably smoking.
You don't think it's going to be gang warfare there? Light versus dark, Crips versus Bloods?
Hell no. No, think about it from. Listen.
You don't think Archangel Michael's going to come down? I shall slay thee.
No, because I'm hoping that they're a little bit smarter than the humans. On the other hand, there was a war in heaven. So, look, I'm hoping
It's
that
on, David. It's on. It's going to be on like Donkey Kong.
right, right. On the other hand, yeah, you're right. I think that when the Christians, whenever I talk to a Christian, I have family who are Christians, and I avoid talking to them because they keep saying shit like, "Oh, we're living in the end of times," and now I believe it, Dread. I believe it. We're living in the end of times because this is going to come ahead.
I say we're the end of your times.
Yeah.
That's what it is. We're the end of your times.
Right. Because I mean, like, whose idea was this? Imagine, like, you're in heaven. Like, what about these people's spiritual guides for the comedic process? These people's spiritual guides looking at them say, "Oh, it's a bad idea to go to this event." Nah, I'm going to this event because I want to virtue signal that I'm inclusive and compassionate and I accept everybody. So I'm going to go to the demon summoning, and I think I'm going to take my kid with me. Jeez, you.
And I'm a Reiki master, so I'll be fine.
Exactly. And I've done a Deepak Chopra guided meditation and yoga event. I'm fine.
Yeah.
I have a joke to give you, though. What if you're a Reiki master who came from Syria? You're a Reiki master who came from Syria. You got jinn in your background. You're a Reiki master, and you decided that you're going to go to this thing with your American-born child. Jeez, who goes to a Catholic school? Yo, like, right? Who goes to a Catholic school? Yo.
The way I see it, it'll be like a West Side Story, and there's musicals going on between the angels and the demons as they're about to go to the railroad tracks and fight. That's for me. That's what I see.
Yeah, and it's going to be like demons and jinn and from different areas, and people going, "Oh, hey man, I haven't seen you in thousands of years." It really
what's good you been up to?
Yeah, exactly. Look at this bitch I came with.
And since we're sitting with you, Andrew, imagine aliens just alien entities passing by. Like, what's going on? What the hell is going on there?
Imagine they're in their ship.
What the hell is going on? Like, why would they do this? Right?
Yeah. Or worse, they're in their ship drinking their coffee or their mocha, and their scanners tune into Minneapolis. What is this energy cycle coming through over here? This is I've not seen anything like this for thousands of years. Convergence of weird energies.
This planet Earth must be like the red light district of the universe. It must be like the red light, like we don't even understand what's going on, but we know we're driving by there as quickly as possible. All right.
So you know that there's going to be one curious alien who's going to take his ship down there to see what the hell's going on.
Yeah, that would be a lost alien.
And then all the black ops guys are going to show up.
I want to watch. I absolutely want to be an unentangled observer and watch. I'm just getting more curious and more curious as it goes.
Somebody's going to be promoting this in the unseen world as a pay-per-view event.
Yeah. I might.
Maty, kind of like a car crash, right? You can't stop looking at it, right? Trying to figure out what the hell happened, man. Oh, what happened out there? That's hilarious.
I'm going to have to look.
So you have a bunch. People are asking what it is that you can do about this stuff. You can't do anything about it. You have to be neutral. Don't get involved in that stuff. Absolutely not. Right? But I know there are a bunch of light workers who are going to be watching this broadcast. Says, I don't care. I'm like a particular light worker friend of ours now turned less than a friend, Andrew. The truth will prevail. I will fight against the darkness.
Yeah, why don't you organise a collective meditation and all project in there and save everybody? That will help.
There are other levels to this.
You know that's going to happen now.
Oh, they're going to get.
You know there's going to be somebody with a medium-sized audience.
Leave this shit alone. Don't give it energy. Leave it alone. The fight is going to make it stronger. Okay? Do what you're doing. Let these crazy Minneapolisans, whatever they call people from Minneapolis, Minnesota, do what they're doing.
Yeah.
Okay. But here's another part that we're not discussing, the geographical significance, because the truth of the matter is this is strategic in nature. I have looked at a map of the states that are promoting this kind of evil agenda, and they are very, very well placed, right? They're trying to spread.
That's like an infection through the high energy places. David, remember that show we did where I showed you the sacred geometry of Washington, D.C., and then the overlay that was over the Great Lakes? Minneapolis, right in the center of that.
Yeah. They're
Dead
trying to
in the center of that.
Because if you don't think that the land, and this is for the shamans in the group, has power, I figured it out. I was never into shamanism at all throughout my entire life before I moved to a place where nature is in your face no matter where you turn. If you try to hide underneath your bed, nature will come and find you there. Okay? All right? It took me a couple of months of acclimatization. But once I started to acclimatize, I realized my skin was getting better. I was getting stronger and stuff like that. And it had to do with where I was. So the land, the geography of the place is very important, right? But then where I live, nature is as raw as it gets, like really as raw as it gets, right? So there's less of an intrusion between yourself and nature. And even if you stay indoors and you don't go anywhere, it affects you. Where certain places are, especially in prairie lands and these kinds of places, right? You start doing magical work there, it's a whole different ball game than when you are trying to do any kind of meditation, magical work, rituals, healing, whether it be Reiki or whatever else. If you try to do it any other place, like in a city, that's a different ball game. It really is. And don't take my word for it. Try it out. Change your look.
See it for yourself. With that said, we have beat this horse dead as dead could be. We have given you all the information that you need. Don't engage in it. Passively observe from a distance and don't let it watch you too much. With that said, Maty, give a way for people to get a hold of you.
Okay, everybody, if you don't want to trap your demons and keep them with you, then ignore this. But if you want to get rid of them, come and have a private session with me. Maty Waller, 2feathersmedicine@gmail.com, all in script, and I'll get rid of those buggers for you.
Okay. Laura, give a way for people to get a hold of you.
Yeah, we can also do that with combined therapies. Get rid of them all. So I'm Laura, 2feathers with the number 2 @gmail.com.
David?
And if you want to find out anything about your psychology or whether you have deep-seated fascinations for any parent, you can contact me at info@universalcitizentv.com. Just kidding, guys. Yeah, I'm a psychotherapist. I am getting back into the practice eventually. Over to you, Andrew.
Y'all know how I'm going to my website, andrewbartzis.com. We are being set up for our next mentorship process. For those of you who have been waiting and wanting to be a part of a mentorship group with me, starting in the 3rd week of September, we will be opening up our mentorship process. So go to my website, andrewbartzis.com, and sign up for the mentorship program. If you're interested in having a reading or having an interview with me, contact the website. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Good day, good night, good afternoon. Take care.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Thank you for letting me come in. This was fun.
Yes.
Every show is fun.
That was fun.